Well, I panicked, folks. I've done a panic. Yes, by the way, I have had a haircut. Thank you for noticing. I should probably explain more after the intro. About the panic, not the haircut. That's self-explanatory. I guess I should start here in regards to the story of why I've panicked. So, our top-of-the-table rivals, Kidderminster, we went to them and we got beaten 2-0 with what was frankly an abject display of football. You can see there on the right-hand side, Griffiths on a 6, Steve McNulty on a 5.9, 6.3, 4, 6.3 here as well. That was worse at one point, I think. But yeah, not amazing anywhere down the line. The best we got was Kieran Green on a 6.8. So I may have panicked immediately after that and decided, well, we can't be having this, because if I'm being brutally honest, of course, after the 2-2 here as well, rubbish in certain places again. Particularly up front as well in that game. Our goals coming from midfielders. I panicked and went for players at the back and the front, which financially, we can fix that a little bit. No, we can't. I need to save £80 a week, but still, if I could just get rid of one player, that'd be great. Yeah, if I just get rid of one player, that would solve that issue. One of the Deadwood players. So I panicked and got another defender and another striker, basically, is what's happened here. Because no matter who I play in defence right now, one of the pair, at the very least, plays rubbish. We sort of get away with it because of how good Harry Wright is, for the most part. We still concede every now and then. You see 7.9 for Harry Wright in that game. A 7.9 for the goalkeeper, which says a lot, really. I mean, their ratings are somewhat bolstered by the fact we scored 3 goals, I think. But you can see the goalkeeper getting into the 7s over and over and over again here. And yet the defenders lacking in certain places. 6.5, actually not done too badly in that one, just by the fact we've lost, but it's right back in that situation. And quite a lot of the time, 6.3 for Joe Tate in that one, 6.2 for Stephen McNulty in that first game we played. Pretty much every single time, at least one of them is putting in a very, very rubbish display in that central defence. And we're being let off by how good our goalkeeper is. So, we've got a new defender, and because our front line hasn't been particularly prolific so far either, most of our goals have come from wingers, or admittedly Burrow's not been too bad on the goals scoring front, but McFarlane has the better potential, which is the awkward situation now. If I just actually go on the striking situation, you can see who's come in there. Now, annoyingly, the best striker is actually the best winger, and he isn't even a natural striker in any way, in any of the striking positions, so we kind of discount him for the time being. But yeah, Burrow and McFarlane, between them, Burrow finishing 11, just a lot of good average, really. He's 3.5, going to stay 3.5. Very solid player we've got on the books there. Now, he has a little bit more potential to grow. Does McFarlane, he's 22. Might belie him, slightly better finishing in the first place, apparently. But not really, so far, being that prolific. He scored, 2, and they've come since we last met. I'm pretty certain both of those goals have happened since I brought in the new player. Well, whilst I was bringing in the new player. You can see here, 4 stars, Juanito Lopez. He's on a reasonable amount of money, in the sense that he's basically on more money than any player at the start of the season, at the very least. But 13 finishing. I have a feeling I've altered my colour scheme again at some point, and I've not changed it back, because these are obviously not being highlighted into yellows. There we go. That makes him a lot better. So yeah, not the strongest, not the most stamina, not the most jumping reach either. He's 6 foot tall though, so he should be alright. 6-ish foot tall. Should be alright on that front. But his actual heading ability, off the ball ability, composure, aggression, acceleration, pace, first touch and finishing, dribbling, all very good and should basically light up this division. Only issue is, we've changed our tactics a little bit, and so far, pressing forward seemed to be doing the job quite well, and he's not amazing at that, so we should really be training him in that role, now that we've actually got him, and there we go. So, now the other player, the defender, we brought in is this lad. Now, I'm not going to pretend I didn't do some research into these players before I brought them in. You can also play right back, actually, somewhat more competently than any other player in the team, which is quite nice, who isn't a natural right back in the first place, which is a lovely thing to have, realistically, because our right backs aren't brilliant. But you can see there, immediately, he's on the same tier as Loic Boom, so realistically they are our first 2 choices. Steve McNulty, actually 2.5 star. He has either very much just declined as a player within the first 12 weeks, because he's no longer even in the team, the division team, either, anymore. So that's interesting. But yeah, tackling 12, marking 12, headings 10. I think that is technically 6 foot, just because of the way it averages out a little bit. But acceleration, pace, all, I mean, when you compare the physicals, like the technicals for Steve are quite good. He's actually 36 now. His birthday's already occurred. The mentals and technicals in defensive work for Steve are fantastic. We won't ever deny that, but he should not really be getting anywhere near our first team with those physicals, because he can't move, basically, and that was part of the problem. He was getting caught out far too much. So Pietro Romano, good aggression, good determination to maybe realise that potential. Teamwork's 12, stamina 12, pace 12, natural fitness 13. Excellent in all the places that we need him to be excellent, and that's wonderful. Now, he arrived just in time for this Royston game, so we did have to play Darlington without any extra players. Steve did alright in that one, 6.6, but you can see still way off everyone else, sort of way off the other defender. We just usually have one who plays really badly, despite the fact we won this one 1-0. The goalie not done amazingly in this one either, but one goal. Alex Kempster seems to be saving us a little bit. I've started bringing Harry Spratt into the bench as well, because he theoretically has potential as well at left back. Can also play centrally if we need him to. Obviously, Sean is a very good utility player, but if this guy obviously reaches his potential, he's 19 now, could be a starter for us. Tackling's 12 already, which isn't too shabby. Actually, he's not a very good going forward. He's very much a fullback rather than a wingback, so we might try to work him a little bit going forwards. But options. Essentially, we now have 2 players in every position and a couple more youngsters on top of that, just to fill the gaps if necessary. But financially, that is a bit of a problem. But yes, Romano did turn up in time for this one and put in a 6.4. Thankfully, though, the team, well, really should have scored more than 2 against the lower side opposition in the form of Royston. It was what we would call dominant. What's particularly worrying right now is Moke's gone a little bit off the boil as well. Not been putting in 6.7 in this one wasn't too shabby, but 6.6 when he came off here. 6.7, he's sort of not been scoring a little bit. He did very well in that first stretch, and now he's come off the boil a smidge. But 3-1, everything happened in the first 34 minutes, and then, well, nothing after that, basically. But starting to get a little bit more our defensive line in general, which is great to see. Lopez didn't start, but he was here in time for this one. And again, dominant, which is what we like to see. Now, Kings Lynn Italy not exactly performing up to their predictions for the season, which is 3rd, apparently. But yes, this has changed a little bit, as you can see. Nacel's still obviously in the top bit. Kempster now has slipped in at left, mid, right still in goal, but the back line no longer has our left back or centre back anymore. So, interesting to see how this is going to develop over the course of the season. But we are still 1-2 favourites. But Kidderminster are very much closing that gap a little bit. They were, well, the nearest challenger was 2-1 when I last looked at this, so this has narrowed a little bit, but not massively so. And if you look at the table, they are now 3 points clear, thanks to the fact they have beaten us. Despite kind of average performances, Moke's still here in the top 3. Otherwise, Kempster is still doing the job over and over and over again. 6 goals for him from a left wing position is both great and not great, because realistically I would like to see a striker in this list rather than him, but hopefully we can fix that now. Thank you for the fact that Vanarama National League North does not have transfer window limits at all, so I could bring in players to emergency panic mode. But yes, that loss to Kidderminster has basically left us 3 points behind, and they have not slipped up since either. So essentially what we need to rely on now is we need to slip up one time. Well, basically they need to slip up once more than we do, and we need to beat them when we play them in the reverse fixture later in the season. And just because I've done a little bit of talking in the start of this episode, we'll just do the 1 game today, which is kind of good anyway, because FA Cup 3rd round to an 8th tier team follows Boston anyway, so that should hopefully be straightforward. Royston was, in fairness, and they are actually a higher division team than Kidlington. So Boston today, which is actually kind of a personal rival of mine, because I'm originally from Lincolnshire, and I'm situated closer to Boston than I am Grimsby, so Boston are sort of my bigger rival when it comes to Lincoln. And of course, Lincoln haven't really fought Boston in a very long while, just because of the tier changes for Lincoln in recent years. Lincoln are almost a victim of their own success in the form of derbies, because now they are alone in League One in that sense. Their nearest, well, in my household, there's a little bit of sort of a cross-household rivalry there, because my family's originally from Norwich, so Lincoln versus Ipswich is kind of a weird cross-household rivalry, but for us, so one of our teams facing against one of our rivals, but not the right way around, basically. Anyway, Boston. And there hasn't been a little bit of a system change in general over the course of times. I put these on complete win backs. They seem to be okay with that in general. Obviously, still central defenders in there because no one in this division is capable of ball playing just yet. Defensive wingers seems to be helping out a little bit in stopping the wing play a little bit more. That seemed to be a bit of an issue with Atletico Madrid even, was the wingers getting through a little bit too easily. So put them on defensive wingers. That seems to be showing that out a little bit more. Just simplifying yourself to attacking central midfield in general seems to be working out here. And pressing forward seems to be the best place on the roulette wheel, stopping. Basically just changing those roles every game, and pressing forward seems to be doing the job there. Attacking mentality. Having slightly pacier defenders has allowed us to go a little bit more higher line again once more. That's just my preference in general. Doing a slightly higher line with offside traps. Now we've got a slightly pacier back line. Helps counter that. Those players slipping through a little bit more. But yeah, Juanito Lopez, maybe not starting him for this match again because they are a little bit more natural in the pressing roles to start with. And actually, yes, Dorrell is returning to fitness. I didn't even know he'd taken a knock, so I guess... Oh, we've had a couple of youngsters get a little bit old enough to join the first team as well. Josh King, not that one, has come through. He's all right, I guess. Certainly makes it easier to get rid of, McNulty and Tate at some point. I guess Newton's the best utility player to stick in the bench. We are away from home, but I know we're attacking, but we are favourites. So I think realistically, the only time I'm going to go off attacking is if we play higher tier opposition in the cups or someone at the top of the team top of the table away from home. Boston aren't been having the best of times. I'm just going to passionately say keep the run going because it is 3 wins on the bounce, 2 in the league, and performance-wise we've been fantastic those last 3 games with the gradual change in system. And starting this game, we've already taken the scruff on the neck of this game with 60% possession and not letting them have a shot at all so far, although nothing at all has happened for 10 minutes as Whittle throws this forward to the now injured Rudoni. Green, Knowles, Akpro. I recognise that name and I'm not entirely certain where I've seen it from before. I saw them sign him earlier in the season and I recognised the name then. Just trying to remember where I saw him before. Burrow now on the edge of it. The pressing forward, so pressing that back line back, really helped stop them sort of drift forward a little bit. Too much. But focus on this left-hand side. McFarlane's there. Kempster's there again. McFarlane's back there. He's turned his player. Moke's there to gather that at the back on the rebound. I'm not sure if there's going to be any more to this highlight. I think that shot might have been it. It was. But Rudoni is probably too injured. No, he's getting that fitness back, so he might survive this match. Boom's there. Boom! LaBoom! Well done. Well, now he's scored, the temptation to rename him LaBoom is all the more. By the way, I am liking the fact that Farsley and Guiseley are directly next to each other in the league table right now. 2 obviously local neighbours, 2 suburbs of Leeds. We actually play them back to back towards the end of the season. That's probably an episode I will bring you. Because A, they're both local, and B, he's nearly boomed it in again. But instead, he's ricocheted that off the crossbar instead. That was nearly 2 goals for Boom, which is baffling. Corner to them. They've had a shot at some point. Please don't let this one in. Nope. Kidderminster at this point are being held, but it is still only the first half. But we do need to rely on them slipping up at some point, and if we can beat them when we play them in the reverse fixture, that'll be nice, because automatic promotion will avoid some very unnecessary tension. As this is, well, it's just given to Callum Griffiths. We saw that happen earlier in the last episode. Just give it to one of our players, basically, and bang, he's knocked it in. I think it's essentially the exact reverse of what happened last episode, where one of their right back this time has given it to our right back, and he smashed it in. Last episode, it was their left back to our left back, and he smashed it in. So 2-0, and Whittle's rating is being reflected in that. Yeah, just keep it up, lads. Keep it up. Although weirdly, it's their left back that's taken the knock in rating rather than their right back, just by the fact he was the one who gave it away. 2 goals for our defenders. I think we might see Lopez at some point because our strikers still seem to be slightly impotent. But Nacelle here, we're just banging them in for fun now. And like you see on the table though, they're Boston in 21st. They've slipped back into the bottom 2. Kieran Green whips that one in. That gets nicely headed out, actually. I'm not sure what Nacelle's done to their Boston player there, but it was a little dirty. Excuse me while I just investigate Akpro and see where he's been. He's 34, so that might be part of it. Was it Barnett last year, Yeovil the year before, Shrewsbury for years, Tranmere, Grimsby at one point? No, not sure. I'm not sure why he's ringing a bell, like specifically. I think he might have actually just been he would have been a free agent at the end of last year by the looks of things as well, so that might be something to do with it. He might have been picked up by someone in last year's game, and I recognise him for that reason. Not myself, obviously. Kempster's a smidge tired. Everyone's uninterested. Great. Don't really see the reason not to bring on Juanito Lopez now. Left-hand side, we're actually very covered by, so let's get Kempster some fitness, save him for a little bit. Romano's not actually having a great time either. 6.4. I mean, part of the problem might be the fact he doesn't speak English yet, and that always seems to have an effect on the performances. His rating just going down and down. But at least getting Romano in seems to be releasing a little bit of pressure off Boom, because he's not being relied on to do all of the running in defence anymore. God bless you, Big Steve, but the fact he couldn't run, I think, was possibly allowing players through a little bit too much. And that was putting the pressure on Boom a little bit much to stop them getting through. As well, Fearless is through here. Boom's just kind of doing nothing in the middle, and Knowles is on that rebound. Good defensive play, however, got in the way there. Kidderminster still being held by 80 minutes in. Well, they actually were losing at one point. I just wonder if I do bring in Knowles here just to cover that defensive line a little bit. It's because I'm not too much of a fan of that him being on 6.3. Now, admittedly, Romano's not on the highest of wages, so that's not too much of an issue if he doesn't play amazingly well straight off. A 3-0, good victory, Ansley says up there. 5.8. You see, this division, it's either 8.3s or 5.8. There's not a lot of just averageness. People either play terribly or well. It's, yeah, good win, good performance. This change in system seems to be doing quite nicely. As Kidderminster were held, actually, so now we just need to rely on not slipping up any more than they do and beating them on the return. Should be fine. Boston let off a little bit by the fact that Kirsch and Ashton lost in the 94th minute. So they stay out of the bottom two by 1 goal. Well, thank you for joining me. We will probably bring you... I'm not sure where to bring you back, but I think I might actually bring you back for Hereford because they are third. And I don't think I'm going to feature them on the second string of this, on the return leg, because it will be Kidderminster Darlington on the run-in that we bring you, and then probably Farnsley Guiseley. So they're probably going to be in the in-between there. So I think we will actually bring you Hereford and Alfreton, 2 home games. A home form, still not amazing. We did beat Altrincham in the last episode, and we did beat Darlington at home. But still, so far, 1 loss, 2 draws. Our home form is actually technically worse than our away form, still. And 3 away games in a row, 4 away games in a row. Might be nice to bring you the home games again. So, Hereford and Alfreton next time around. I'm genuinely not sure what we bring you after that, actually. Might feature either Gloucester or Kettering in some way, shape or form, depending on what happens with extra rounds in the FA Cup. I'm actually genuinely not sure how many qualifying rounds there are at this stage. But if we get to the first round proper, then I'll definitely be bringing you that game wherever that slots in. So, but next time, Hereford, Alfreton, 1 on the top, 1 on the bottom currently. Both games are home. Until then,